Today, we're getting into some really fascinating source material. We're looking at how to take something that's often very private, maybe even occasional cross-dressing, and integrate it into the shared life of a couple.
Right. So not just as a one-off event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about making it a consistent shared habit. The sources we have explore how these mini rituals, as they call them, can turn this whole exploration into a source of, real connection and creativity.
And what's so compelling is how they frame the idea of a ritual. It's not about being rigid or like stuffy, not at all. It's about creating these structured, playful spaces, dedicated times for experimentation. And the big takeaway is that this consistency is what builds confidence and really strengthens that emotional bond through, well, collaborative play.
Okay, let's unpack that. Our mission here is to really dig into the specific actionable ways couples can do this. How do you move it from, the back of the closet, literally and figuratively, onto the calendar?
Exactly. How do you go from waiting for the mood to strike to making it a predictable, joyful part of the week?
The sources are so clear on this. Consistency is. It's the cornerstone. You can't just wait for inspiration to show up.
You have to schedule a time for inspiration to happen. And by setting aside that time, you're signaling to your partner and to yourself that this is important, it's valued.
So what's the big example they use?
The flagship example, the one they build on, is this concept they call try on Tuesdays.
Try on Tuesdays. It's catchy. But okay, my first question is, if you schedule something that's supposed to be fun, don't you risk it becoming, well, a chore?
Yeah.
How do you keep it spontaneous?
That's the critical question, and they have an answer. The idea is the time is fixed, say, Tuesday evening, but what you do in that time is totally flexible. It's a container for play.
Okay.
So it's not always about getting ready to go out. It's about the process itself. One week, you might just focus on clothes, maybe trying bold colors or mixing patterns you'd never dare to otherwise.
And the next week?
The next week, maybe you ignore the clothes and just play with accessories, shoes, jewelry, scarves, building the atmosphere.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the sources talk about adding themes to keep it from getting stale.
Absolutely. This is how you level it up. They suggest picking themes like vintage glam night.
Or evening elegance.
Or even something playful like character-inspired styles.
Yeah.
This stops it from just being, let's try on clothes again. It becomes more like low-pressure theater. You're exploring different personas together.
And the partner's role here is, it's not just being an observer.
Oh, it's essential. It's explicitly not a solitary activity. The partner's involvement, suggesting items, helping combine pieces, that turns it from a performance into a shared adventure.
It becomes a project.
It's a collaborative project. And that consistent weekly affirmation and a safe, protected space, you can't overstate how much that helps build confidence and intimacy. It directly pushes back against any of those old feelings of secrecy.
So if Try On Tuesday is the big weekly event, the cornerstone, how do you make this feel normal on, say, a Thursday morning? How does it become part of the daily rhythm?
That's the next step. You move from the big scheduled event to what the sources call micro rituals.
Right.
These are tiny shared moments that you weave into ordinary routines, things that are already happening.
Give me some examples. We're talking about things that don't take a lot of time.
Exactly. Low effort, high impact. Think about the morning prep. It doesn't have to be a big production. It could just be the partner helping select a small detail.
Like a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, or a scarf that picks up a color in the outfit. Just a quick suggestion about a texture or a color. It's a small moment of partnership that makes the crossdresser feel seen, right at the start of their day.
But is it realistic to expect that every single morning? Life is chaotic.
Well, the insight isn't that you have to do it every day. It's that the option is always there. The expectation is shared. And then in the evening routines, the focus could shift. Maybe it's collaborative makeup, trying a new technique together.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, these are moments that are usually pretty solitary, but when you do them together, they become a bonding activity. It's all encouragement and experimentation.
It sounds like the key here, the real mechanism, is shared ownership.
That's it, precisely. When the partner is involved, it stops being a personal indulgence and becomes a shared endeavor. That's what normalizes it and makes it just another part of the fabric of the relationship.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about building the wardrobe itself, the hunt, collaborative shopping.
Yes, this is one of the most powerful rituals because it forces communication. You have to talk about taste, about budget, about what feels comfortable. It turns finding clothes into this dynamic joint adventure.
So if someone is used to shopping alone, maybe even in secret, what's the big shift when a partner comes along to a physical store?
In a store, the partner can be both a stylist and a kind of a buffer.
Hmm.
They can give immediate feedback on fit and colors, things that can be hard to judge on your own.
And the buffer part.
Well, if the crossdresser feels at all anxious in a public space,
Hmm.
the partner's presence, their active participation, it just signals acceptance. It turns a potentially stressful situation into a fun mission.
What about online shopping? That's usually the most solitary experience there is.
They totally reframe it. It goes from like private hoarding to shared exploration. You can look at way more styles, create shared wish lists.
The Pinterest board, maybe?
Exactly. And you can create little challenges for each other, like find the perfect accessory for this dress, or let's find two totally different styles and mash them up. It's all about that shared anticipation.
So it's really about building something together, not just a wardrobe.
You're building a shared aesthetic, a deeper understanding of each other. The style becomes a tool for building the relationship itself.
Okay, so from getting the clothes to choose, documenting them, the sources also talk about a photography ritual. That seems like it would require a lot of trust.
It demands deep trust, yeah, but it's also deeply collaborative. The crossdresser is experimenting with poses, with expressions, and the partner is the photographer, the stylist, the creative director, all in one.
So they're working together on lighting, on framing.
It becomes this focused, interactive, and honestly, often very funny art project.
But what about the power dynamic there? The photographer and the subject, that could be tricky.
Trust is built when there's mutual respect for the vision. The crossdresser is in a vulnerable position, and the partner's job is affirmation and guidance. But the real magic happens when they review the photos together.
Okay.
That's where the validation happens. They celebrate what worked, they laugh at what didn't. It becomes this visual record of their shared success, of a journey in confidence, not just in appearance.
We absolutely have to pause here, though, because the source material brings up a very, very practical warning about this.
Yes, we have to be really clear. They stress how important it is to be diligent about where these pictures are saved.
Right.
If there is any concern about photos being seen by the wrong person at the wrong time, you have to have a plan. Whether it's on a phone, in the cloud, on a computer, there needs to be a clear mutual agreement about storage and privacy.
That is absolutely essential context. Okay, so let's inject some more pure fun into this, the mini fashion challenges.
Yes, this is the antidote to routine. It's perfect for couples who like a bit of competition or just need to shake things up.
So what do these challenges actually look like?
They're basically structured limitations to force creativity. For example, you set a timer for 15 minutes and say, okay, go, create the most dramatic look you can using only things from this one drawer.
I love that.
Or you pick a weird theme like you have to use only purple and green, or you have to incorporate a piece of sportswear into an evening gown look.
The psychological insight there is so interesting. It's not just about the clothes. It's about fostering laughter and creative problem solving.
That is the core insight. You're practicing communication and collaboration on a fun, low-stakes problem. How do we make this ridiculous combination work? And those are skills that are vital for the whole relationship. It's play with a purpose.
So we have all these pieces, the weekly night, the daily micro-rituals, the shopping, the photos, the challenges. How do they all fit together?
The sources suggest that the most rewarding experiences come from layering them. You don't just do one in isolation.
So a try-on Tuesday could be more than just trying on clothes.
Right. A try-on Tuesday could start with a mini challenge, say with a specific color palette. That leads into a styling session based on those limits. And then you end with a quick photography session to capture the wild result.
That integration creates a much richer, more immersive experience. You get the consistency from the schedule, but the freshness from the challenges.
And that's what turns it from a set of activities into a living tradition.
Okay, let's pull back and look at the big picture. The emotional ROI for the couple. Why go to all this effort?
When you synthesize all the material, the benefits are just. They're profound. You're talking about enhanced intimacy and trust because of all the shared vulnerability.
And huge confidence building for the crossdresser.
Massive confidence building because of that regular scheduled affirmation. Then there's the shared problem solving, the infusion of joy and play into daily life. It all creates these lasting positive memories. It really moves the whole thing beyond just being about fashion.
It becomes part of their unique story as a couple.
It proves that scheduled play can be one of the most intimate things you can do.
So for you, our listener, who might be thinking about how to put these ideas into practice, what are the first steps, the most actionable tips?
Start small. Set a flexible schedule, like the try-on Tuesdays idea, but always be ready to be spontaneous if the mood strikes. And crucially, involve both partners in all of it, the wardrobe, the styling, the photos. Create that shared ownership.
And keep it fun.
Keep it fun. Use themes, use challenges, and most of all, just keep communicating about what feels good, what the boundaries are. Focus on the mutual enjoyment.
Ultimately, these playful rituals can turn something that might start as a private indulgence into this vibrant, collaborative tradition that really strengthens the partnership.
Exactly. What this all teaches us is that exploration, when you approach it with support and humor and curiosity, becomes this incredible shared adventure. The big lesson is that intimacy isn't an accident. It's a skill that requires practice. Consistent, scheduled practice.
And as you think about how to build those joyful practices into your own life, here's a final thought to mull over. The key lesson here wasn't really about the clothes. It was about treating connection as a skill that needs scheduling and structured play.